Hi guys. I am on page 176 and I am reading Life at Bothin. The first surgery was soon followed by a second. Dr. Gossman needed to cut away more dead tissue. He felt that the wounds still weren't clean enough for a skin graft. After that, things settled into a routine. By the end of the first week, Sasha's hospitalization, Debbie and Carl had returned to work part time, arriving at the hospital every afternoon around 2 p.m. and staying into the evening. Sasha didn't have the concentration to read or watch movies, so they spent their time dozing, scrolling idly through Tumblr, and calculating how long it would be until they got another dose of painkillers. What makes you get out of bed in the morning? A friend asked Sasha on Tumblr as part of a list of get to know you questions that got passed from person to person. It used to be not wanting to miss the bus and be late for school, Sasha wrote. Now it's my nurses taking me to the tub. Being bathed in the huge stainless steel tub was Sasha's favorite part of the day. The official name for it was hydrotherapy. The purpose was to keep the wounds clean and prevent infection. All Sasha knew was that the water and towels were warm. It was pleasant floating there, a welcome change from lying in bed waiting for the next dose of Dilaudid. That's like a painkiller. Friends came to visit, dressed in yellow paper gowns, their hands covered by blue synthetic rubber gloves and their faces hidden behind paper masks. 2 visitors were allowed in at a time. Nemo and Michael were the first to come. Healy visited a few days later with Tia. Sasha had asked them not to bring food because everyone had been bringing food. They brought food anyway. Vegan sushi from Berkeley. It was nice to have visitors, but Sasha wanted to go home. It was hard to sleep at the hospital. The room was always too hot or too cold, and it was often permeated with odd noises. For a while, Sasha's roommate was a man in a medically induced coma who was hooked up to a breathing machine that hissed and thumped in a rhythmic pattern. The next roommate had burns over half of his body. He'd gotten them in a house fire after running back to save his dog. He was friendly and chatty at first, more chatty than Sasha was in the mood for, actually. Then his burns became infected and he grew quieter. At night, he moaned and murmured in his sleep. Okay, so this is just Sasha talking about their time at the hospital and how, I don't know, it's not very fun, right? The one thing they do look forward to, though, is time in the bath. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. I'm at the top of page 179. It's called Not Visiting. Andrew didn't visit. He planned to, but when the day arrived, there was always a reason not to go. I could have done it if I just set aside my bullshit feelings and had been there for them, he said. The bullshit feelings had to do with a worry that he hadn't been as good a friend to Sasha as Sasha had been to him. That year, he had his first real boyfriend. The relationship was all-consuming in a not entirely healthy way, and Sasha had felt like a third wheel whenever they were together. And of course, Andrew and Sasha went to different schools and had different friends, and it was totally normal to grow apart, except that Sasha had once been the most important person in the world to Andrew, and he felt bad and weird about the fact that they weren't close anymore. Like, maybe it was his fault, and then he felt bad and weird about feeling bad and weird, so maybe it would be uncomfortable if he showed up at the hospital. But then Andrew would remember how Sasha had visited him when he was hospitalized for depression 2 years before, just after starting 9th grade. Sasha had come to the hospital on Andrew's 15th birthday, and they had brought a present, a gift card for an art supply store. It had been so good to see Sasha's face that day. Sasha had been so upbeat, not in a cheery, let's put a good face on this way, but in a God, I'm so happy you're okay way. Now the situation was reversed. The least he could do was return the favor. Just show up, for Christ's sake. He should go. He would go. He'd visit Sasha tomorrow. Next week at the latest. But he never did. I had no idea how to even go into the room, he said later, because Sasha would be there, in a hospital bed, burned. And the thought of seeing what could happen to gender non-conforming people made Andrew's palms grow slick with fear. I knew I wasn't in danger by being there. That's silly, he said. But it was just like, this is how it is for people like us. This is the reality. Okay, I'm going to read these 2 chapters too. Okay, this chapter is called The First Letter. Okay, November 8th, 2013. Dear victim, I apologize for my actions, for the pain that I brought to you and your family. I was wrong for what I did. I was wrong. I had no reason to do that to you. I don't know what was going through my head at the time. I'm not a monster. I have a big heart. I never even thought of hurting anyone like the way I hurt you. I just wanted you to know that I'm deeply sorry for my actions. I think about what happened every second. I pray that you heal correctly and that you recover and live a happy life. Please forgive me. That's all I want. I take responsibility for my actions. I'll take all the consequences. I wish you and your family the best of luck. I'm not just saying this because I'm incarcerated. Honestly, I mean every word. Love, Richard. Okay, so this is a letter from Richard to Sasha, and him just apologizing to them for everything. Okay, last chapter. Into the briefcase. Within days of his arrest, Richard's family scraped the money together to hire a private attorney to handle his defense. They chose Bill Du Bois, a courtly 40-year veteran at the Alameda County Courthouse, who had represented a number of high-profile defendants, including one of the men who murdered the transgender teenager Gwen Arharo in 2002. At their first meeting, Richard gave Du Bois 2 letters he'd handwritten to Sasha. The one he wrote on November 8th, and a second one he wrote on November 11th. Du Bois took the letters and tucked them away in his briefcase, because the letters contained an admission of guilt. He felt he couldn't send them until the case was resolved. It would be 14 months before Sasha would read them. Okay, so now that Richard has a lawyer, the lawyer won't let Richard send the letters that he's writing Sasha, but Sasha will eventually see the letters just after the court case is done. Okay?